going.
Okay. Hi, Maddie. Thanks for joining me again today. I just wanted to go over the consent form with you again, just to refresh what you can get out of this counseling session and the rules that I have to follow as a professional. I'm just a student in counseling skills at this university, and I practice with volunteers. You can choose to talk about topics that are bothering you, but there's a confidentiality, so I won't talk about things with anybody else. But if you do say something that's of serious harm to yourself or indications of like child abuse, neglect, or other special conditions, then I'll have to report those things. But this session will be recorded, so for like my personal listening and learning. And if anytime you become uncomfortable during the session, just say so and I can turn off the recorder. And then this recording can be shared with my supervisor, but nobody else. If you agree with these things, please sign and date, please. Thank you. So I remember last time we talked a little bit about your concerns about the future and where you want to go, and you said that you wanted to go to med school, and there was a few concerns you had with that. Is there anything that you want to just share about to start off with? Any new updates or?
Well, a little bit has changed since the last time I talked with you. All the interviews are done now. I did 4 interviews total.
How did they go?
They went, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not the strongest interviewer, so I'm not sure. I don't know. I got rejected from 2 of the schools and waitlisted at 2 of them. So I don't know if that had something to do with the interview or just weaknesses in the application itself. But most of them were pretty relaxed. Some of them, the questions were a little more difficult to answer.
Yeah. What's something that you think you did well in the interviews?
I guess as far as answering their questions about why I was interested, and that was good. But I guess the only part of my application that was a little lacking is I had shadowing experience, but they really like to see hands-on clinical experience, which you can't get unless you have a certification of some sort, as like a CNA or something like that. So it's a little disappointing when they didn't see that on there. So I don't know.
Tell me more about how you felt when you got rejected and waitlisted.
Well, I got rejected by the 2 schools in Wisconsin, so that was kind of upsetting because my family lives in Wisconsin, so I really wanted to be in Wisconsin. And then the one school is actually in my hometown, so that would have been really nice. And the program was pretty good too. It was also very expensive though, so I don't know if that really would have been a trade-off living at home, versus the expense of the school. Probably would have ended up being about as expensive. But the other one was at Madison, and my little sister goes there, so it would be nice to be close to her. And there, I felt like I really liked their program, but during the interview process, or as part of the interview, they tell you about their school, so in case you do get in, then you know, hey, I would like to go here. This isn't really a good fit for me. But I didn't really feel like any of the ones I interviewed at were a bad fit either, so it was really just a matter of location, pretty much. Where would you like to go or live for the next 4 years?
Right. So it sounds like you were definitely upset when you didn't get into the schools that were in your hometown, because location is what's most important to you for when you go to med school, and you'd like to be close to your family, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I would like to be close to them. I have a twin sister, and she is also graduating, so she'll be back home, so it would have been nice to be close to her and my family, or my parents at least. there are no kids at home anymore, so it would be nice to see them more often. But I guess hopefully it won't be too bad. I mean, I might end up at home anyway for a year if I don't get in this round.
Right, so is that like your plan now, like for what you want to do, like what you want to do now, as far as knowing that you didn't get into 2 schools and you're waitlisted on 2 other ones?
Yeah. Well, another thing with that is that I won't know for a while. Like the way the wait list works is, so if they offer you a position, you can have hold spots in multiple universities up until May 15th, and then you can only hold a spot at one.
Okay.
So that's when there's a lot of movement on the wait list. So I won't probably hear anything from then, and then you can be offered a spot anywhere up until classes start in August. So I guess I have like 3 months to wait and find out if I got in or not, which is also kind of frustrating because the application for next year opens up in June. So
I see. So it sounds like you're frustrated about having to wait to wonder whether or not you're going to get into schools, and yet you have to know sooner than that so that you can apply to schools for next year.
yeah, I think I might start the application anyway. I'd like to, again, like I said, the one part of my application that wasn't as strong was the lack of direct clinical contact, since I didn't have any sort of certification to do that. So hopefully I could work on that this summer. So that's my plan, is to work on that in case I don't get in, and then apply again.
So, so it sounds like you have a plan figured out as to what you want to do next and things like that.
Yeah, I figured it would be a good way to earn money and at the same time strengthen my application at the same time. So in preparation for that, and also my mom is more interested in me applying to optometry school instead of medical school, since, well, it's the same amount of time, but there's less residency. There's only 2 years of residency as opposed to 6 years of residency. So it's a little bit better that way, and she thinks it'd be easier if I had a family, if I did that instead, which I am interested in. I feel like there's less, if you go to optometry school, you are going to definitely be an optometrist, where if you go to medical school, you can specialize in pretty much anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my main hesitation on that, but I'm going to apply to both, maybe increase my chance of getting in somewhere, hopefully.
So tell me more about how your mom reacted to when you told her that, or if you told her that you didn't get into those schools and you got waitlisted.
I think she was supportive of me applying. She just didn't know if that would be, I guess she didn't think that would be the right fit for me, but she was still supportive. She helped book all my flights for my interviews and arrange hotels in the towns I was staying in, and stuff like that, and I guess was supported or consoled me when I didn't get in, and she is gonna, or she's helping me with the you have to, even if you're on the wait list, it's you're supposed to fill out the financial aid stuff in case you do get in, so that, because you have to pay for your first semester, so if they let you know the week before that you got in, then you're not going to have any financial aid. But anyway, she said she'd help me look at that and get that figured out, so
Yeah.
I guess she is supportive. She just thinks it might be a better fit the other way, which I do see her point. But I feel like it would be slightly limiting, just slightly. But I know. I mean, it is shadow optometrists and doctors, and I mean, they have the patient interaction that I want to have, and that kind of thing, and they both help people, and so I don't know. I don't really know.
So it sounds like you Do you think that both going to med school, being a doctor, or it has a lot more options, you said, or going to optometry school are both good options for you? Do you want to maybe make a pro and con list between the two different professions and see, like, focusing on like your positive, like your skills and like which one would use your skills?
Do you want me to write it on the whiteboard?
Sure,
then?
you can write it on the whiteboard.
Cool.
So between them both, okay. So between the two professions you'd like.
Time. I mean, not that time is really that great for optometry either, but I guess more so than medical school, so I'll put time over there. More options. Did I spell it right? Options?
Yep.
Okay. So less options.
What else did I say?
Maybe like skills that you think that you have that work well in each one.
I mean, they're pretty much the same as far as like rigor of learning the material is concerned, as far as doing the actual job. Yes, there's so many different ones you can do for medicine, and I'm not really sure. There aren't any optometry schools in Wisconsin either. The closest one is in Chicago. So.
Yeah.
Options.
So for med school, you said there are a lot of options and it's hard to come up with things because you don't really know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
But like when you think about yourself going to med school, like what do you envision yourself doing after you're done?
Honestly, I think either like primary care or internal medicine, which is like in the hospital. Primary care is just like a regular doctor that you go see for checkups, and then I don't know. I mean, you go through the rotations if you do get in med school, but I think OBGYN would be good too. They also need to deliver babies. But I don't know. Is that enough? I've never done that, so I don't know if that'd be something I'd be able to handle, but I'm sure I would find out during the rotations.
Right.
So,
I see.
and I guess I think there's a little bit higher earning potential in medical school. I mean, again, that depends on your your specialty. I don't know about employment opportunities for optometry compared to medical school. I feel like it'd probably be easier to find a job as a doctor than it would be as an optometrist. I don't know, they're both in pretty much anything in healthcare is in high demand, so I don't know.
So looking at these two lists that you came up with, what do you see?
I guess major differences are time and the amount of opportunity or options you have for each. And I guess in the long run, time isn't really that big a deal. I mean, it's only a couple additional years, and people still do. I mean, people who go to medical school still have, or doctors still have children. Most of them do anyway. But I always ask that of the female doctors I shadowed, what it was like trying to have a family. I said it's hard, but it is doable. But I think it's pretty much the case for anyone trying to have a career and a family, especially women, so I don't know how much better it would be for one versus the other. And again, like for medical school, you can choose a specialty that has better hours, like dermatology. I mean, but that again, then that's the difference with getting into residencies is those ones with good hours and good pay have, or there's more competition for matching in, because that's a whole other application process at the end of school's matching for a residency program in a hospital. So I don't know. I don't even know and if I would get the one I wanted. Some people do whole residencies and then do an additional one just to get the one they want, to make their application more competitive and get what they want, because it's very competitive, so I don't know.
Yeah. How do you feel about the competitiveness of it all?
It's been kind of daunting, especially going to the interviews and like most of them have like lunch and tours, so you're talking to all the people and all the people are like just as qualified as you are and just as driven, so you're like, oh man, what makes me any better than any of these people? Are like, I don't even know.
Well, let's think about that. Let's think about that for a second. Let's try to think of like what is something that you know that you're really good at that not very many other people are. Like, what makes you stand out?
I guess I'm very hardworking and detail-oriented, almost kind of a perfectionist, which can be a con at sometimes, just because you get hung up on certain things, but I feel like that's necessary for learning that volume of material that goes with it. I feel like that would make me good, at least in this school part of being a doctor, like knowing all the material, but I'm a little more shy than some people, so I mean, I'm not bad at talking to people, I just not as outspoken, but I don't think that would really be too much of a problem, because when you have to have a good relationship with your patients, but you're not like just there to talk about the weather, you're there to see if they're in good health or whatever, depending on their specialty. So, or your specialty. So, I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I guess I'm driven or passionate about it, something. It's like what I'd really like to do. I can't really see myself doing anything else besides working with patients in one form or another. So.
And that's great. It's important to be passionate about your job for sure. It sounds like you know that you are hardworking and maybe more hardworking than other people, and you're driven and you're passionate. That's really good things. So let's try to focus on the positive aspects that you have, the positive skills you have to offer. And looking at these two options, they are kind of similar, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question. Why do you think your mom wants you to pursue optometry out of all the different medical professions?
I think the hours are a little more flexible as far as being able to raise a family goes, so she thinks that would be a better fit in terms of that. And I think, I guess the time does kind of make a difference, because that would be around the time most people start having children, so that 4-year gap could make a difference between the two, but I don't know. I can't really say. She's done, obviously has a family, so I think she knows more about that than I do, but as far as having a family and being a doctor versus an optometrist is different. I'm not really sure she knows more about that than other people, so, but people do it, so in either case, I don't know. Honestly, I think it would really depend what specialty you went into. So I guess, I mean, yeah, I didn't even apply to optometry school this time around because I really just, I don't know, it didn't seem like quite the right fit for me.
Yeah. So, it sounds like you really don't think that optometry school is something you want to do, but your mom keeps pushing you towards that.
Yeah, so I will keep it in mind. I also want to do some more shadowing again, since it has been a while since I have shadowed an optometrist. So I figure maybe if I give it a second try, it might, I don't know, and especially being able to compare the two more than I had last time, because I did shadowing an optometrist first, so maybe that might make a difference. I'm not sure, but that's part of my plan to see.
That's a good plan. So when you talk about your mom wanting you to do optometry school, the main thing you say, the reason, is family. Am I right with that?
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like what's most important to her for your life is being able for you to have a family.
Yeah, well, that's more a reflection of like me. I mean, she knows I really do want a family more so. I mean, than my siblings seem to anyway. I mean, I guess she knows that about me, so she's just concerned that it'll be more difficult that way. And then again, it also depends on a lot of different things, so it's hard to take all of those into consideration. Like your significant other or whatever spouse, like that's going to make a difference, and if they have an equally demanding job, I mean, that's going to be a lot more difficult than if they can take more time, or you can take more time, like it's really balancing. So, and I have no idea about any of that right now, so
Yeah.
so it's difficult that way. But a lot, like some of the female doctors I talked to, like their husband stayed home for a few years with their kids, so
Wow.
yeah, but I know. Honestly, I have no idea about that yet, so I really can't really factor that in yet, which is challenging. It's pretty much just waiting for everything right now. Just waiting to see what happens.
What are your feelings about waiting?
It's frustrating not knowing, and especially for the wait list, like you might have to pack up and have 2 days to get there and find an apartment. Like I think that would be quite scary. Like, oh, by the way, now you start school and you get all these really hard classes that you have to focus on, plus find an apartment and all your stuff, and you don't know anyone, because the two I'm waitlisted at, one is in St. Louis, Missouri, and one is in Detroit. So I don't know. I mean, I went there to interview, but other than that was the first time I'd ever been to either place, so I don't know much about them. I really did like the program at St. Louis a lot, so I would be happy about getting in there, but we'll see. I don't know. I mean, like I said, all of them had really good programs, and you can't, I mean, they're all accredited universities, so none of them are bad. It's just pretty much location. And I mean, there's a little bit of difference between like grading and stuff between the universities, but it's all fairly similar. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm stuck in limbo pretty much. Like I'm graduating, but I feel like I don't have anything to show for it. Really, I mean, I feel like pretty much with most things now you have to get some sort of advanced degree in order to do anything with it. You can't just have a bachelor's degree in most things. For engineering is probably one of the only ones that you really can. Or business maybe, I don't know. But even then, people get masters in business to move up, so.
So you said that you're unsure, or that you feel like you're graduating, but you don't know, or you don't feel like you have anything to show for it. Let's explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I guess I thought I would definitely know where I would be going at this point in time, but I graduate in a week and I still have no idea where I'll be. So I guess just getting nervous for May 15th, since I feel like that'll be a good indication of whether or not I'll get in. If I don't hear anything like around then, I mean, if I don't hear anything around then, I'll probably start to get pretty discouraged as far as that goes. But still just waiting mostly.
So, maybe we can try to make an action plan for when that date comes and the difference between, like, maybe if you do hear from them and you do hear that you get in, and what you're going to do then versus, like, if you don't hear from them and you don't get in. How are you going to handle that?
Well, one very important part of that is I'm going to Italy to study art for a month. What's exciting? From the end of May till the end of June, so I won't be here, be able to like do anything. So May 15th is like a few days before that, so I don't know if I'm going to hear anything or not, but so I guess I'd have to wait till I came back to do anything in terms of related to medical school at all. So, but if I didn't hear anything by the time I got back, I would. I don't know. My plan is either to get some sort of certification, like a lot of people get CNA certification, help out in nursing homes, or you can be a medical scribe and just like take down the patient's history for doctors. That's also something that I heard lots of people who are applying to is pretty much those two things. As far as clinical work, I mean, because volunteering and shadowing don't really count towards that. So I plan to do either one of those two things, and then again more shadowing as far as optometry goes as well, just to get the mix, and then apply after I add some time in. I kind of would be leaning towards scribing because that certification would take as long, so I feel like that might be better. I don't know. And the other thing, applying is a rolling application. So the earlier you apply, the better, but you obviously need to work on your resume before. Like, I signed up for this Italy trip like well before I knew what was going on with this, so I guess it's kind of kicking me in the ass right now, but I guess I'll just make it work. Hopefully get some hours in, and then I feel like if I submit it by the in August, it would be alright, since you can turn it in all the way up until November for most schools. I mean, each one has their own date, but usually it's between November and the end of December, so I feel like that would be a good compromise. Hopefully get a few additional hours in, maybe get additional references as well. Although I feel like I had fairly strong references this time, at least a few of them are very strong. I'm not sure. So yeah.
So it sounds like how you feel about the Italy trip. You are concerned about being gone right after like the date where you're supposed to find out whether or not you get it or not.
Yeah.
Because then you can't apply right away for the other schools because you'll be in Italy.
Yeah, well, I could apply. I mean, it's an online application, but I wouldn't be able to like have strengthened my application at all by then. I feel like it wouldn't take as much time to apply since I can still use the same reference letters and the same test scores, and I just have to write one additional essay if you're re-applicant. One more essay, which isn't a huge deal compared to the total application itself, and it's still the same transcript and all that.
Do you think, like, what are some positive things about going away to Italy right after?
I think well, if I do get in, I mean, this would be one of the only times I'd have for the next, for a good, like 8 to 10 years to do any sort of traveling at all, so I wanted the opportunity, and I haven't spent as much time with the friend that I'm going with since I went to school up here, so it'd be nice to spend that time with her. So I'm excited for it in terms of that. And especially like if I did go away to medical school, again, I wouldn't be with her. Like, so I guess, and it's only a month, so it's not horribly long time. I mean, it's not too much time lost. But I only have a few good friends anyway at home. Just 3 and my sister, so it's one of them. So.
So it sounds like you have a plan for whether or not you do get in or don't get in coming from May 15th. How do you feel about the plan that you described?
I think it's a good plan. It would just be frustrating to have to wait an entire year and go through all the interviewing again.